There's got to be a better way for Netherwort farming. Ugh. Why doesn't it do it like the other farm? I wonder. Did this end up working the same way? I wonder if cocoa beans are a better way to go too. Let's try this out. Let's see what we get. Time to go. No. 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 And now I need to make myself a new farming hoe. Removing that from happening again. Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode of The Siblings Den, where today I had a long day. Basically, while researching something new on Skyblock Sun on Skyblocky / MCHub, I accidentally threw my fully enchanted farming hoe for the purposes of what I do for farming, but also for the video. So I had to grind again a whole day to make myself a new farming hoe. What does that mean? It means it took a lot longer than it should have. So if you would like to help support this channel, all I ask is leave a like, leave a subscribe, check out all the videos, especially there's still the pending huge vote crate key one that should be wrapped up after this episode. Once we're done with that one, I'll look to do another giveaway at some point, but for now, let's get on to what have I been up to. As this has been shown in previous videos, you'll notice that we're not having so much luck with regards to Netherwort. And while Netherwort is one of the more beneficial crops to make some money, it doesn't have the same benefits as the other farming crops, or so I thought. As you can see with the proper tool, when you also have to remake it all over again, you'll end up getting all of the crops out in a single swoop. You'll see that it's nice and clear, and then with the abilities of the island, you just have to wait for it to spawn again. Well, when it does spawn, this is what happens. You'll see the growth of the Netherwort not being consistent or fully throughout the farm, and that just ends up making farming a lot slower for this particular resource. As you've seen in previous videos though, we've improved that quickly for other resources as well. In this case, you'll see that the potatoes are able to grow much faster and more fully when they are respawned. So I thought, let's give it a try with Netherworts. I was pretty confident this wouldn't have really worked, but I figured, why not? Let's give it a try and see what happens. Well, as you can see here, all of the Netherworts are fully grown, unlike the top tier part of the farm. This seems to indicate that water is able to help grow even Netherworts faster, even though Netherworts generally shouldn't be affected by that type of growth. But it seems like on this server, this seems to work out. Well, if we know that this works with Netherworts now, and we know that it works with pumpkins, and we know that it works with melons, and we know that it works with carrots and potatoes and beetroots, well, there's one other crop that this can work with that might potentially bring in lots and lots of money. And that is cocoa beans. That's right. Cocoa beans sells at 100, while Netherworts sells only at 80 per item. What that means is that cocoa beans have the potential of making more money than netherite, but only if it's done properly. So let's take a look at that. Let's just show right now our method to see if we can gather the cocoa beans first. Confirmed, we're able to get the cocoa beans. All of them are taken from their jungle wood. this is perfect. And then we have it set up so that once it's regrown, we can do it again, which is great. As you can see here, we have a large chest full of cocoa beans, and we have a large chest of netherworts. Ideally, we should see more money coming from selling the cocoa beans than we do the netherworts, so let's confirm that. Netherworts gives us roughly 276.48 if we don't have the multipliers, and the cocoa beans 345,600. So for sure, cocoa beans make more money when gathered. Just for the fun of it, I'm gonna sell a whole chest full of blaze rods as well to see and compare. So blaze rods sell a full chest at 432,000. Lastly, let's just see how much cocoa beans we do get in one swoop in a chunk similar to the netherworts and compare. Given that the setup that we need for cocoa beans needs to be in a particular order similar to the pumpkins and the melons, while the netherworts don't need to. So let's just take a look. That's one pass for the cocoa beans. Now we'll do one pass for the netherworts. And here we go with the netherworts. And that's one pass with the netherworts. As you can see, from one pass of the cocoa beans versus one pass of the netherworts, we're getting about 3, maybe 4 stacks more than we are the cocoa beans, maybe 3.5. So does that mean that cocoa beans are not making as much as the netherworts? Let's see by selling. And we can see that the cocoa beans are slightly less than the netherworts. So that's it. Case closed, right? Netherworts are better. Don't bother with cocoa beans. That's it, right? Well, not exactly. And I'll tell you why. While it's true if you were farming this manually, the cocoa beans are not the most advantageous crop. But given if you have your farm set up in a way that they recuperate so quickly, 1 or 2 more passes just to accommodate the netherwort, just for the increased yield, is really not that much in the grand scheme of things. Depends on how big your farm is as well and what the setup is. If it doesn't take that much time to make that increased amount, it might not be a big issue. However, netherworts is much easier to farm just because you don't need any setup. So with netherworts, it's a lot easier to set it up rather than having the cocoa beans, because you have a lot more space filled with the crop that you need rather than having it filled up with other methods that you don't need. For example, having to put stumps for the cocoa beans to grow from. However, if you know that you are not going to be the one farming it, and you can make sure that the whole chunk or the whole area will have enough beans to be respawned while being gathered, one smart thing to do is have a farmer pick from it. If the crop spawns fast enough for the farmer to keep picking it up without any delay, then that ends up being the best solution. And that's where a farming robot is the most useful for cocoa beans rather than netherworts farming like you see here. On a quick side note, the placement of this farmer is actually in the worst position. You really want to centralize that, because you'll see that, especially with a bedrock farmer, it's able to pick from a huge area space, and most farmer robots can do that as well. So be sure to have it more centralized in a farm rather than like this. The only reason I do it this way is, well, it grows fast enough that I don't need to do any more than that. But additionally, I really don't have an unlimited cell one, so I keep having to buy ones that are limited, and I can't use them fast enough. I break one full cell one every like several boops. So if you're going to be doing that, either sell all or put your farmer to good use pulling crops that have the maximum yield. And here you go now. Enjoy farming cocoa beans, buddy. And now with this setup, my robot is going to yield much more money farming cocoa beans this way rather than farming netherworts. It looks like it's a small space. By the time the robot ends up farming out what it's already done, this setup will end up having it grow more beans to collect before the farmer is able to run out of things to farm. So this is a perfect setup for this bedrock farmer. If you have any slower farmers, for sure you're not going to have an issue, but you can clearly see that it's got more than enough, and already everything that it's picked up before has been replenished, and it's going right back to farming what it has. So this is a fantastic setup. That's all I have for today. Just really want to point out the cocoa beans as a method, also how the water source method seems to be working on netherwarts as well, if you're farming and needing to gather those up for your island upgrades. If you haven't had the chance to take a look at methods used for farming pumpkins and melons, please take a look. That video still has its pending giveaway to wrap up. You'll see that I have a full chest of Vote Crate keys that I'm going to give away to those that are able to watch the video fully, subscribe, leaving a proper comment as indicated in the video on how to have a chance to win a full regular chest of Vote Crate keys. I appreciate all the likes, subs that I've gotten so far. You guys are amazing. We're almost at 400, and I'm hoping to get to that, if not further, before the end of the year. So if you want to help and support the channel, want to see different new content come out regarding Skyblock, regarding reactions, regarding mods, regarding lots and lots of other content that we can create on Minecraft, let us know. It helps us a lot, and we'd very much appreciate. And go ahead and leave those comments. Let us know how we're doing. If there's anything you don't like, let us know as well. We're very curious to see what the community is looking at and where we're able to help, where things are not working out, and go from there. With that, thank you very much for watching this video. Wishing everyone a happy 2022 and a new year. This is Wingless Dragon signing off. Thank you very much. Woo! I don't want to lose another item again. No more grinding for me for a little bit.